What's going on, go-getters? In this week's episode, we talked to Reverend Shawn Walker.
Mr. Walker is a great guy. He's a motivational speaker. He's a reverend. He's a member of the school board. He's a family man. He's a businessman. He wears many hats. One thing I'll say about Mr. Walker after you watch this podcast, if it doesn't light a fire under your ass, I don't know what will.
You're doing
so make
something
sure you
wrong.
tap in.
Yeah, guys, this episode was a fucking banger. He left me speechless quite a while throughout this podcast.
For sure.
You just got to let him carry away and just talk sometimes, and he'll really light a fire under your ass. We hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend, light a fire under one of your friends' ass, and we hope you guys enjoy it one more time. Boom! Peace. Boom!
Reverend Shawn Walker in the house.
Love it.
What's going on, man? How you feeling? How's everything going?
Man, I tell you what, I feel much better that I'm here, dude.
You look great.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
I've been really excited about this, trying to catch my second win. The adrenaline is pumping. So
That's dope. Yeah,
Nice,
that
man.
happens.
Nice. You're looking swift in this place today.
Well, you know, fame, strength.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
got to get right with fame strength, man.
Fame
Yo,
strength.
we talk about that first?
Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
kick it off with that.
yeah.
I saw that
Shout out to
crazy.
Josh,
Yeah,
by the
shout
way.
out Josh
Shout
Mason.
out, Josh.
Yeah.
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right. So I saw some transformation pics.
Yeah.
Right? You went from being a big boy to you look good now. You look slim. I bet you
Yeah.
feel good too. How's that going?
You know, I was posting a thirst trap for y'all. So I don't really do all that kind of posting and stuff. But I gotta be honest. So it was goal season at Fame. So
Yeah.
you're probably aware, right? Every year or so, you pick a goal or two, and you try to accomplish those goals over an 8-week period of time. I chose a lifting goal, which I knew I was going to get. That wasn't too difficult. But I also chose a running goal because I hate running.
Okay.
So I had to run a mile, and it's not a great time for most people, but for me, it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay.
Dude, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
My theory was I'm going to sprint for as long as I can and just pray to God I could, like, crawl in. That's just about
At that time.
what I did. So I made it in 8 minutes, 19.54 seconds. Like,
So 0.5 seconds you made about.
0.5 seconds. I
Wow.
made it by. And I honestly, man, was just proud of the accomplishment because I chose something that I hated, and I went for it and was able to achieve it. And I'm like, yo, you know what I'm going to do? I just want to really try to inspire some people because a year ago, right now, I was 260 pounds.
Wow.
And where you at right
Yeah,
now?
what are you clocking at
I'm
now?
at 220, but
Wow.
I was down to 205.
Whoa.
So I was 260, got diagnosed with diabetes, and now it's like, yo, so got to live.
Yeah.
Want to stay on this earth, right? So my whole family has diabetes, so it's never a matter of if, but when. So, started some light medication, and then more than that, just started watching my diet and eating right. So I lost a bunch of weight, and then my son Cole, we were out one night.
Shout out Cole.
Yeah, and he puts his arm around me, and he says, "Oh man, you're frail."
Ooh.
And I was like, "What'd you say?"
How'd that feel coming from your boy?
That's exactly. It felt like I needed to get into fame strength.
Yeah.
So literally,
Get your mind right.
Yeah.
Fame
so
strength.
Literally, BTC was around the corner.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as he said that, BTC came across my feed. I'm like, yeah, I'm back in. And this time was just different for me, man. This time it wasn't more about like I need to lose all this weight. I already lost it. It was about getting strong physically again. And what ended up happening is I ended up getting really strong mentally.
Yeah, for sure.
And
man.
now, like, I can't live without it. I just can't
That's
live
great.
without it. Yeah, man. So it's been a blessing, man.
That's so dope.
So you're also a reverend.
Yeah.
And with that comes with great faith, right?
Yeah, you like to think so, but
sure.
trust me, us reverends, if we're telling the truth, our faith is just like y'all's. It's a work in progress.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think though that you can't fully serve and you can't fully be present if you're not in good shape, if you're not taking care of yourself,
Mentally and physically.
Right.
Yeah. So I was listening to. There's a few dudes I was just listening to, like maybe a couple weeks ago, a month or so ago. Podcast, TikTok, I'm not sure, but someone was saying just that. And if you asked me a year ago, I would have said, nah, that's garbage, right? Because I can serve,
Yeah.
but can I serve to the best of my ability?
To your fullest potential.
Right,
Right.
right. Could I serve to the best of my ability? And the truth is, I can, but only according to my present ability.
Yeah.
I see. So like there's a boundary you can push.
So here's the thing, right? We say good is good, but better is better. So we're going to be all right with better because better is better.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to tell me, oh, I've done my best. Nope.
You don't believe in the best?
Nope.
Okay.
What's your philosophy then on that?
Even your best can get better.
Facts.
That's fair.
Your best is only your best today.
Yeah. Right.
But if you have a growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
Your best can, like, I started off pushing up 185, then 225, now 260, and then 3 months from now it's going to be 280. My best is going to continue to get better the more work I put in, the more knowledge I put into the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like now it's not just go to the gym, push up weight. Now it's go to the gym, push up weight.
Yeah.
Hit the protein right after, drink the gallon of water, get up, start the day with the water, and the metabolism hits, right? Get your protein to 45 grams during breakfast to ignite the protein synthesis to take advantage of the work you just put in.
Yeah.
So I didn't know all that 3 months ago.
Right.
Right. So then you start adding knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
To what you're trying to do. And then you put that into the work and your best gets better that way.
No doubt. Because if you knew better, you do better.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Knowledge is wealth. That's crazy. So you have to adapt like a growth mindset in order to think and live that way, though.
Yeah.
You can't just be like stagnant. You can't just think like average is okay. You have to develop this type of mindset to think that way.
Absolutely.
So was that something that you had to recently adopt, like that type of mindset, or something you had to tap back into?
So when I was 12 years old, I was on the Myers 7th and 8th grade basketball team.
Yeah.
And we had a coach named Joe Long. Joe, at the time, was a 24-year-old, right? So the wise old age of 24, right? He's just a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He's, to me, you know what I mean? He was the best. And love him to death. And we had a really good team that year. And I think we were marching towards either a playoff game or it could have been even a championship game, but it was late in the season. And we were messing up, throwing the ball over the place, laughing, silly. You know how sometimes you just don't you have one of them practices.
Sure.
So he stopped the practice and he sat us down in the corner of the gymnasium. It was like the Kistler gym. So it was like the gym cafeteria, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like just imagine the setting, right? And he sits us down and he gives a speech. Now I don't remember anything about the speech except this one phrase. He said, "Y'all have great potential, but potential doesn't mean anything unless you reach it." And I do not know why, but for some reason that just punched me right in the stomach. And I never lost it. And it began to be something that I thought about and cultivated throughout my teenage years, but more importantly into my adult life because the stakes were higher.
Yeah.
So I always cared about potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what happened is I went out into life and failed at some things, fell on my face at some things, and I began to doubt myself, my own sense of a self-esteem and confidence. And about that faith question, my faith began to shatter underneath my own 2 feet. So I had all of this foundation that I had lived my life upon, and it was crumbling.
Damn.
It was just falling to the ground. But I had this persona of being Shawn Walker. I had this image of being the Rev. And like, so I'm trying not to let anyone see me sweat, but in the meantime, I am struggling.
Damn.
So like depression and anxiety and all this stuff is just like overwhelming me. And I always wanted to be better so that I could do better and ultimately feel better. But I never took advantage of potential because I thought potential was enough, because it sounds like a compliment. If I'm like, yo, Darrian, this podcast, this house, this, that, you're doing as a young man, dude, you have great potential. You can rest on that statement. Be like, yo, he said I had great potential. But what does it mean if it never goes beyond potential? So I started to learn, like, yo, if you are ever going to be and then do and then feel all the ways you want to, then you've got to start to learn how to turn potential into performance. You got to take action.
Which is your thing now.
That's my thing.
That's what you're pushing hard right now.
Pushing hard, potential to performance.
So that's how this whole thing developed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now you're pushing this onto the community. You're being that leader in the community, and you're speaking at schools, and you're doing these workshops. And how is it manifesting in their eyes and in their life?
So this is an idea that I've had for like over a decade.
Okay.
But growth mindset, I didn't have it. I had a fixed mindset.
Fixed mindset,
I had a fixed mindset. I had a fixed mindset that said, like, if I just keep being a good person, like this is going to break for me. If I just keep having these conversations, right, and trying to help people in the ways that I have, it'll happen for me. And then over time, when it didn't happen, you start to feel like, oh, this is it.
Dang.
Like this is just everything is ever going to be.
Yeah.
And I got this broken and I got that broken and my finances are a mess and this thing and that, right? And so I'm just thinking this is going to be all it's ever going to be. And then I started to learn about a growth mindset, right? Because I started to suffer with that depression and that anxiety. And so I needed a way out. And everyone always used to say, change your mind, change your mind, change. But man, that is so much easier said
It's cliche.
than done.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to learn what a growth mindset meant. And what it means is you all probably know is that things don't have to stay the same. They can change, but it changes over time with energy and effort. And that was the part that I was missing.
Yeah.
I had the time, but I didn't put in the right kind of energy and effort.
That's very interesting. I feel like now I'm going to treat this as my own little workshop, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I got your time. I got you here.
Let's do it.
It's kind of crazy you say that because I've been reading books and I've been on the same kind of wavelength that you are. Like, how can I enhance my living? And I genuinely believe that all of us suffer at some time.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand suffering, and I'm trying to learn what suffering is through learning about Buddhism and Eastern philosophies and stuff like this, because I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. Why do I insist on suffering? And there's this trend going around nowadays, and it talks about manifestation, and it talks about it in a way that you've said was step one, and it's just having the conversations and being a good person and doing the right things, and good things will come. So that you found out for your own experience that wasn't the case.
Nah, check's not in the mail, y'all.
Yeah.
The check's not in the mail, and ain't nobody coming to save you. You understand? So like as a man of faith, so some of my church upbringing kind of messed me up, to be honest.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Some of my church upbringing messed me up because in my church, especially in the black church, right, you are taught so much about faith, right, and that all you got to do is have it and everything's going to be all right. And that is true, because I do believe that God has kept me. Believe me, with some of the stuff that I've done, I've been shown great mercy. With some of the things that people I've hurt, I've been given grace. Trust me. Right? Like there's been time after time, moment after moment of what I would call divine intervention.
Yes.
So trust me, I believe and I know God has had my back. But there is a difference between God's sustaining power and his deliverance. And even in the Bible, there's story after story after story where people have been kept and then they took action and they were delivered. Right? So there's this infamous story about this woman who was sick for 12 years. And the story goes, she spent all her time, all her money, doctor after doctor after doctor, and wasn't getting healed. And she's crying out and crying out and crying out and wasn't getting healed. And then all of a sudden, Jesus comes into town. Now, Jesus, knowing, right, how sick she was and everything she's gone through and all the suffering, you would think that when he comes into town that he should have ran right to her house, knocked on her door, and said, I'm here to save you. That did not happen. He just went into town and doing everything that he normally does with the crowds and the fame and the this and the that. And she saw it and decided that she was going to run after him, being sick on a deathbed, and took the action. Now, first of all, most of us have been like, F you, man. You knew I'm up here sick and tired. I've been crying out to you for 12 years. How could you not come see about me, right? That's what I would have done. But she was like, nah, I got to go. So she gets out of her house, runs down that dusty road, falls flat on her face, and crawls. And the story goes, she touched the hem of his garment, and he felt power leave him. And she was delivered. So he kept her all those painful years. And then when she took action, he kept her in faith all those years. But when she took action, deliverance. So I was like, all right, I've been kept all these years.
Damn.
I've been kept.
That's crazy.
Right? I've been kept all these years.
Damn.
But now it's time for me to be delivered. And in order for me to be delivered, God's going to bless the hands of my work and the work of my hands. So I got to get to work. So that whole manifestation thing, like Cole cracks me up, right? My son, Cole, was like, just manifest it. I'm like, you go try to manifest that grade, bro. Like, don't study. Don't go to class. Don't pay attention. and then go into that class and take that test and manifest that A.
Doesn't work like
Go
that.
ahead, good luck. So the manifestation piece to me is nothing more than that thought process.
Yeah.
So it starts in the mind, but then the mind has to lead to an action.
Facts.
Right? And so to me, go ahead, manifest. As a man thinks he is, the Bible says, think and grow rich. I believe in all that. But we especially y'all young kids who have a whole life ahead of you, don't waste 20 years like I did. Don't waste 20 years like I did. Like, go.
So what was your first step in going? What was the first thing you did to shake this kind of mindset that you had?
My dog tore his ACL last year, and I needed $5,000, and it was right before Christmas. And I remember thinking, how am I going to do this?
It's a pickle. You're in a pickle now.
Yeah, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
I had a job at the time that it wasn't making a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's just, I just had Cole's graduation, family vacation, sent Cole off to school, and like Christmas is in a month and a half. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I'm outside one day, painting my windows. I'm listening to a podcast, and there's a motivational speaker on there, and he's dropping hints at the game. And I'm like, I could do this. And he was a youth motivational speaker. So I'm like, I think I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and looked this guy up online, YouTubed him and whatever. I'm like, I'm better than this dude. Right. So I'm like, I could do this.
Yeah.
So that was like the foundation, like, all right, I can do it. But then the growth mindset had to kick in.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought it was a good idea, but then I got afraid. Right?
Yeah.
So
fear is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And like, I got to be honest, man, sometimes even like you're afraid of what other people who don't think like you are going to think about you.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like, who do you think people think that you all are trying to do this podcast
For
thing
sure, man.
Yeah.
No, it's real.
On I don't want to give your address away, but on some small street in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
It takes a while to get over it, too.
Yeah, and it's like, because you care inherently.
Yeah.
And I'm a people pleaser, so I really want you to like me. Right?
Yeah, I feel that.
So, like, I struggled with even saying it out loud that this is something I was going to try to do.
Yeah.
So, like, secretly, I'm gathering all this data together, and then I crafted an email. And I remember, dude, sitting on the edge of my bed with this email written and the address list in there, and I had to hit send. So you asked me, what was the first thing I did?
Yeah.
I hit send.
Okay.
Damn, man. Yo, I want to just pause real quick and just say that I appreciate the honesty. Like, you're being 100% transparent, and I really appreciate, like, first and foremost, you shared that you had experienced darkness.
Oh, suicidal darkness, dude.
That's real, man, and I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, 23 years ago, I don't want to be here anymore.
Damn.
How old are you right now?
46.
Wow.
23 years ago, I prayed a prayer to God. I said, you gotta save me or kill me.
Wow.
Save me or kill me, because I can't do this.
Yeah.
And he saved me.
You're here right now talking to us. And,
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate it. Man, this is crazy. So, moment of silence. This is insane.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. No, so it's been a complicated journey, but it's the one that got me to this point. So we're better late than never.
So
but that's what I did, dude.
Yeah.
Like, all that fear, all that anxiety just crept up. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and everything's written. I'm staring right at it. I'm like, as soon as I hit this send button, I'm gonna get rejected. As soon as I hit this send button, I'm gonna get judged.
Yeah.
As soon as and I'm like, yep, nah. I mean, I got nothing.
Yeah.
What do I got to lose? Send.
It's very similar to clicking that upload button the first time. It's very similar. Like,
For
just
sure.
waiting, like, damn, like, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Are they going to hate me? Are they going to love me?
Yeah.
Just click upload.
Yeah.
Just got to go for
It's
it.
gotta go.
Wow,
So,
man.
in your philosophy of potential to performance, you've created a system, like practical ways, and I think it consists of 7 steps.
Yeah.
Right? The first one, I think, is identifying you have potential,
So
or it's honesty with yourself or something
let me walk you through it.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Please.
yeah.
So if potential's down here and performance is up here,
Yep.
right? First things, working with kids, the first thing I need to do is make sure that they understand that they have potential. So remember how Coach Long said, you have great potential,
Yes.
but potential doesn't mean anything?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So in my generation, most kids had heard that. Like, it doesn't mean anything unless you reach a part. But most kids had heard, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
You could be a firefighter.
Mm.
You could be an astronaut. You could be, right? Because our families, they push that. Grandmas and nans and pops and aunts and moms and dads.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when I started to speak to kids, I wanted to get to it doesn't matter, it means nothing unless you reach it part. So I asked a setup question. And the setup question was, who here in this auditorium has ever been told that you have great potential? And I expected everyone to be like, me, right? Only about a third to half. I'm like, oh, that's weird. They're nervous.
Yeah.
They're just playing, like they don't want to be here. So I asked it again. Come on, y'all. Like, come on, y'all. Who here's ever been told? Same response. So I'm like, okay, let me pivot. So first, let me explain to you then that you do have great potential. Right? So if no one in your life has ever told you that, let me be the first one to tell you that you, as you sit here, with whatever is going on inside you and around you, you have great potential. And if you've heard it before, let me remind you. And then so I went to school after school after school, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. Yeah. And guess what? It held true. It was always a third to a half. So first things first, you have to understand you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are an on-purpose work. You are an intentional work, and you're a good work. So that's first. You've got great potential. Now, that potential doesn't mean anything unless you reach it. Right? So understand it's in you, but it doesn't mean anything unless you reach it. So now we got to get there. So potential, like if I'm defining potential is the innate ability you already have. Potential is also the capacity you have to consume and then grow that ability. And potential also is the opportunity to take all of that is in front of you and apply it to what's in front of you. So that's what potential is. So if you got that, now how do we take that and make sure it's performed, executed against? And so there's a process, and I call it take an honest look. The first thing you got to do is take an honest look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right? And so many times, right, we get caught up in the what?
The good or the bad.
The bad. So do you know that you guys are readers, so you know that the human mind inherently thinks negatively before it thinks positively. Right? It's just inherent. We're wired.
That's a survival thing.
It's a survival thing. We are wired to think negatively, right? So that we can stay alive. What's that noise? Back in the,
the trees or the bushes.
What's that noise? Is that saber-toothed tiger coming? Right? So we're wired that way. So the first things first, you got to take a look at good, bad, and ugly, put it all on the table. So one of the things that I really like to teach the kids, and that really resonated with the kids, especially this last round, I'm like, yo, so what's good? And they all like, wow, what's good? My family. Like, my family.
Yeah.
Sports. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll tell you, let me tell you about what's good, like in my life. Right? I get up and I walk down the steps. I make a quick left. I open up a door and there's my daughter sleeping. Man, that's good.
Yeah.
Right? I roll down the hallway into the bathroom. I turn on the shower. There's hot and cold water. Yeah. Man, that's good.
That is good. That hot water, man. I'll tell you what.
Word? Right? No, but seriously.
For sure.
That's good.
For sure.
I throw my clothes on. I walk down to the first floor. Man, there's breakfast. Right? That's good.
Yeah.
I just put clothes on my back. That's good. My heart is beating thousands of times a day. That's good. The breath in and out of my lungs 16, 18 times a minute. That's good.
Yeah.
I get in a car that takes me to a job that pays me a paycheck, that lets me pay my mortgage and my gas bill and my electric bill. That's good. I said, and even if I didn't have any of that, sometimes I grab a cup of coffee and I sit there in silence, and that cup of coffee, the way it tastes, the way it smells, the way the heat hits my hands, that's good. What I'm trying to teach them is like good isn't yachts and Ferraris and penthouses and party. Like, that's not what's good.
Yeah.
What's good are all the little things that make the smile on someone's face, a text message from an old friend, a lunch with a buddy that makes you laugh and cry, right? Like, that's the stuff that's good. So let's list all that and understand your good column is huge. But why? So then why are we looking at bad and ugly so hard? Because that's the suffering. That's what hurts.
Yeah.
Right? So I tell them, so that's my good, but here's my bad and ugly: anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Like, I got some bad and ugly, some temptations, some stuff that I'm
insecurities, maybe all that stuff.
I'm really insecure.
Yeah.
People are like, how are you insecure? You're always out in front. You're always on whatever. I'm like, yeah, man, but just because you're doing a thing doesn't mean you're afraid. You're not afraid to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every time I step out there on camera, I'm afraid of it. You know what I mean? But so I try to teach them, and what was cool this last go around with this last group of kids is they really got that part.
That's
they
great.
really understood the what's
That's
good part,
dope.
and they started to like really think, yeah, I got all this good stuff.
And how old are these kids, if you don't mind me asking?
The best ages are 9 through 12.
Okay.
I do 6, 7, and 8. The message has to change a bit at that level.
Yeah.
Because I can't be super honest about the bad and the ugly.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you don't ever, like, I don't want, so someone at that age, I don't want to bring up, hey, bad and ugly, and then they get triggered and start to fall apart. Like,
That's fair. Sure.
Like that older kid, like, they're all right. They're willing to talk about that anxiety issue because they want to. Like, they want to get it off their chest. And so we serve to have a good conversation about the good, the bad, and the ugly, addressing it, and then deciding that we're going to move on anyway towards the next take an honest look, which is your GPA or your goals, plans, and actions. But in between that is that mindset step. Because if once you put it on the table, you say, all right, I got good, bad, and ugly all existing at the same time. It is not one or the other. It's all of it. So now, like, I want to be successful. Now I want to live a life of my dreams. How am I going to do that? Because all I see is negativity. All I hear is negativity. Maybe I don't have role models in my house. Maybe I'm not having anyone model success, or whatever the case might be. Then you start to feel like this is all it's ever going to be for me. Like, it's just going to be the $10 an hour whatever job, or it's going to be, and not there's anything wrong with that, because work is work.
Sure.
But some people want more, right?
Absolutely.
And they don't feel like they could get it.
Yeah.
So I try to tell them, no, you could go get it, but you got to change your mindset. You got to forget about anything else and everyone else that is around you.
Yes.
And change your own mindset that says it can change over time with energy and effort. And so I tell them, you have the time, but are you going to put in the energy and effort?
Yeah.
And to what? And then we set the goal, create the plan, and then teach them to take the action.
Why do you think that this is not a universally focused on aspect of most schools?
So I'm trying to find that out.
Man, I love that question. That's a great question, because I really, really believe, like, there are some more foundational things that we should be talking about in school.
Absolutely.
That we're just missing, like self-esteem. Or, like, even though you talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, like, those are basic virtues. Like, one, gratitude.
Yeah.
We all need to be grateful. Is there a human being on this earth that shouldn't be grateful?
Or isn't grateful for at least one thing?
But you should be able to develop that virtue, one.
Yes.
But two, the bad and the ugly is introspection. Some people go on throughout life and ignore who they are. And
Because it hurts.
And it's true. It's real. Like, looking in the mirror sometimes is hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're developing those fundamental virtues that we need to excel as a human being, not just survive as a human being. Right? But in school, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about self-esteem. We don't talk about dealing with anxiety and like navigating your emotions and understanding that they're a part of the human condition.
Yeah.
And not learning to not identify with them. Like, why is that missing?
So it's interesting, because I've been asking the question, how do we close the potential to performance gap?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a gap. So how do we close it?
Yeah.
So I've been meeting with setting up meetings with people in the education world, right, who are experts in their fields. And I actually interviewed a young lady who serves on the board with me, Beth Ann Harris, and she is a school psychologist. So I just think the world of her, period, because I'm familiar with the work that she had done when she was with our district. But since then, her career has evolved. and she's a director level now, but has grown her expertise in this area of school psychology. So I wanted to meet with her in particular, and I asked her that question, like, so how do we close this gap? And then she taught me that they do measure potential, your IQ,
Sure,
and then they do measure performance, your grade level or your performance in class. And then when there is a gap, they try to identify the reason for the gap. So if it's like a disability, for instance, right, learning disability, then they put in certain accommodations to try to maximize whatever potential that you do have, right? But then there are the other reasons that people don't perform. And that's what we're talking about here, right?
Okay.
Because the reasons that those kids don't necessarily perform, they don't show up in that testing because, to your point, it's a self-esteem issue.
Sure.
To your point, it's a home issue.
Sure.
It's a lack of caring. It's an apathy issue, right? So who's gonna pour into them? Right? And give them the tools and resources that they need mentally, soulfully, spiritually to just get up and go to class, let alone succeed in that class. Because if they have a fixed mindset and they think, yo, when I graduate, I'm just going to be like my mom doing this.
Yeah.
Right? Or my dad doing this, or my cousin and them doing this. Like, so then what am I doing this for? You know what I mean? What am I doing? What does it mean? So if you first got to give them like the hope in their potential so they can first see and identify a future.
Yeah.
And then help them work towards that future. And I'm not sure if that's the job that needs to take place in a classroom, so to speak, but maybe it's the job of a curriculum like mine or someone else's.
Yeah,
right.
Man.
So I'm not sure if we need to replace biology with it, but maybe there needs to be something that addresses those kinds of issues in maybe a new and different way. I don't know, but I'm asking the question to those administrators and those school psychologists and
That's
guidance.
Great.
That's the start.
Yeah, but here's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah,
because I'm going to ask the question to people like you. Who are like, what, 4 or 5 years out? How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay.
I'm 22. I just turned 22 the 14th.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
All right, so like 4 years out.
Yeah.
And I want to ask it of like some 27 and 28-year-olds, right, who are 10 years out.
Yeah.
And just like go back in your mind and tell me what in your opinion, what is the gap for you? What was the gap for you between potential performance, and when did you figure it out? How did you figure it out? And then what did you do about it once you figured it out? And then I want to go to these kids that I'm currently working with and be like, all right.
You've seen the formula. Like you're pulling the formula from, or you're pulling these reoccurring patterns in these people who attain some success, and then you're going to apply that to these kids. Fascinating.
Yeah. So now I'd be like, all right, so hey, what in your opinion, 15, 16, 17-year-old, sophomore, junior, senior?
Wow.
What's the difference? What is now that you understand potential?
Yeah.
And now that you understand performance, what's the gap? Why aren't you
Right.
there? Like, right? Because what I want to hear is what the kids think at age 15, 16, 17, what the young adults think at age 22, 23, and what the kind of like pushing towards, like, I got a real life started now, 27, 28, 29-year-olds are thinking versus what the administration thinks, and say, yo, are we aligned in this? Like, are we giving the kids so math, cool, science, cool, history, cool, but are we giving them more than black marks on white paper?
Yo, this is big, dude. This is huge. Because ultimately you're setting siege and you're attempting to put a footprint on the education system.
And I'm just trying to put a footprint in kids.
Yeah.
And in
this is real though.
And in future.
That's great.
Yeah. And if that happens to go through or work its way through the education system, then good for the education system.
Yeah, man. That's fascinating.
What better way to help the human race than to start with the schooling system that everybody has to go through?
Yeah. Well, so I look at, like, I just was giving a talk to these kids at Wilkes, and the theme of that talk was given to me. So I adjusted what my normal talk is to the theme, which was having hope in adversity. And, so I'm talking to these kids, and I'm like, so I don't watch the news anymore, right? Because I'm sick of it. Yeah. It's hard for me to even scroll down Facebook anymore. Yeah, it's just so miserable all the time, right? And I told them, like, there's times where I just want to be real selfish and focus in on me. Yeah. And then I thought, but I still have hope, right, in our future. And the truth is, it's because I have hope in you. Like, my time is going to, like, first of all, the people that I looked up to, their time is winding down.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the time where they hit the ground. I mean their time to work is winding down.
Yeah.
Right? So now I'm working. But in 20 years, it's going to be time for my work to wind down. So that means y'all.
For sure.
Right? So, like, I can't look at the future and feel hopeful if I can't look at you and feel hopeful. And so that's what I try to impress upon these kids. Like, yo, there's a lot riding on you.
That's very true.
Right?
Responsibility.
There's a lot riding on you.
Yeah.
So I need you to take this potential and get to performance, or where are we going to be as a people, as a country?
Yeah.
Like seriously, think about that.
Wow,
Move that forward. Who's going to run our businesses? Who's going to create new businesses? Who's going to run the government? Who's going to do these things? Right? Y'all are going to do these things. Right? You all. So,
generational cycle.
So yeah, man, I just feel like we got to start, as young as we can. And really kind of build this foundation and then set the goal, create the plan, take the action, and get them used to that model, right? And then teach them the accountability piece.
Yeah.
So accountability, that's the last phase. That's the last step. Take an honest look at you, meaning be accountable to yourself. Don't be accountable to your mom. Don't be accountable to your dad only. Don't be accountable to your coach, your teacher. Be accountable, right? You want to do right by them, but at the end of the day, it's your life. So you got to learn to be accountable to you.
Yeah, man.
Right? And the only way to do that is to be disciplined. Yeah. So if we could what I'm trying to do is just give them this process so that whether it's getting an A on this next test or learning how to be a jet fighter or a physician or a podcaster or whatever it is that the goal is, I'm just trying to teach this process so they could just repeat it over and over and over and over again.
Because when the steps are practical, it makes it seem like it's more realistic.
Right.
For sure. Like, oh, wait, I could do this. Here are the steps right here. I just need to follow through with it.
Just got to follow through. Just hit send.
Yeah. Just send it.
Yeah.
I feel like we never heard that when we were in school.
That's great, man. That's outstanding.
I didn't hear that. I certainly had some really, really, really good teachers.
We just had Mr. O'Day on the podcast.
It dropped literally today.
It came out today.
O'Day, I got to listen to that one because I love me some Mr. O'Day. Yeah,
he's dope. Dude. I love Mr. O'Day.
I had a teacher. Her name was Myrna Lou Schaefer. She was an English teacher at Myers High School. God rest her soul. But man, I love that woman. Like, she allowed me through writing and journaling to come through some of the biggest hurt that I've ever had up to that point in my life. It was over a girl, right?
Oh, shit.
That's always the number one Kickstarter for a young man.
It was over a girl. She had broke my heart. But we, like, just as part of her class, there was this journaling process. So I'm like, I journaled everything about that experience and along the way. And she would write back to me. Like, she would be my friend, write back to me, and then she'd check in with me. So it wasn't all about, like, learning the definitions and the equations.
Yeah.
There were some people that did absolutely pour into me inside the classroom and out, and then obviously on the basketball floor. I mean, I give so much credit to coaches because they make such a difference in kids' lives. Yeah. But I think what this is, it's different. Like, it's different. Because it's a process that can be practically done. And if you want it, you can go get it through this process. And I know it works because
you've done it. I got a question for you. And it's a little bit off of what we're talking about right now, but I'm curious to know what you think about this. Do you think that there is some force in this universe that pushes us to a natural inclination towards something that we're almost born to do? Do you think that there is predetermined purpose in a lot of us people? Because you made a really interesting point when you were talking about this story where you were 12 years old and Coach Long told you about the potential, and for some reason that stuck with you. It's almost like it was meant to be that way. Yeah. When Einstein was 12 years old, his father gave him a compass, and he was fascinated with why the compass moved. And over time he began to develop his theories on relativity and all of the stuff that he did. But it's almost like he was drawn to it. Yeah. It's almost like there was a magnet pulling you to this area. Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think, like, there's something that's calling you that we can get in tune and aligned with and then begin to, focus our life in that way?
Yeah. So like, I don't want to be all preachy, but you got a Bible guy in the room.
Yeah,
So,
no, I want to learn a new perspective.
So you got a Bible guy in the room. The prophet Jeremiah was called into prophecy, which is just basically preaching, speaking the word, and sometimes, most of the time, judgmental. So it wasn't a position that you would attain to be in.
Yeah,
right. It was very difficult, and he was told. He was told by God, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you, right? So, like, before you were ever a thought to your parents, like, God, or, people today will call it the universe, whatever, knew who you were and formed you to be exactly who you were and designed a purpose that would meet your hands. And once your purpose fell into your hands, that's when a life is lived to its fullest. But most of us don't ever reach living a life of purpose, because we live a life of survival. Yeah. So we learn very quickly, right, that I got to pay this bill. Yeah. I gotta get this house. I gotta make sure the rent's paid. Like, you learn very quickly, right, that you got to get up and go to work. And what happens is, a lot of people confuse their work and their calling. And that they aren't necessarily.
Oftentimes they're not even.
And most of the time they're not the same thing. Right. And so I don't discount work, obviously, right? Do what you got to do, but then you got to do what you were born to do. Yeah. Right. So if those two things align, great. If they don't, find a way. Otherwise, you're going to be that guy like I was 15 years ago, driving up and down the interstates, screaming, like, silently in my head. Yeah. There's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah, dude.
Like, there's got to be.
I've been in that place as well, for sure.
Many times. I mean?
So yeah, I do believe that. I believe that there is a purpose that is designed for each and every person that has been created. I just believe that most of us get caught up in the stuff that is life versus the purpose that your life is supposed to be full of.
Can it be said in an artful way that those obstacles are there on purpose?
They're absolutely
because otherwise you wouldn't have to know. You wouldn't be able to figure out what you're really made of. You wouldn't be able to figure out how hard and how strong you really could be. It's almost like it's like a game.
That's the universe testing you.
It's like levels, and like, can you handle this? Do you still believe in yourself with this little challenge in front of you?
See, here's the thing. Like, they say, oh, God's testing you. Okay, but for who? Like, who's God testing you for?
Yourself, I would think, for yourself.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Like, he ain't testing you for him. He already knows. He knows you can pass or fail the test. Yeah. The test is for him to see where you're at. Yeah. The test is for you to see where you're at. Yeah. And so, like,
I like that.
So, like, when I suffered through, I went through, like, 10 years ago, this whole job thing. I left a big job, took on a small job, and lost a lot of revenue, and, like, literally debt a ton. Like, it was a nightmare. My wife is going to kill me for talking about it publicly, but it was just,
shout out Mrs. Walker.
It was a nightmare, and I'm only saying it because without that happening and the subsequent suffering, right? Yeah. And then me trying out of desperation to put the blame on somebody else, I needed to do that. I had to be dragged, right? It wasn't just hit rock bottom, it was be dragged through it in order for me to be like, nah, man, dude, right, take the honest look. And so I had to be like, nah, it wasn't anyone else's fault but yours. And so then I thought, well, if I broke it, then I could fix it.
For sure.
And that drove me, though, to the purpose part, because here's the thing. I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. I knew what I wanted to do for a decade. I just never did it. Guess what? I might not, if that dog didn't tear his ACL. Yeah.
Isn't that funny, man? I feel like animals are kind of like it's almost like my dog is like my spirit animal. Like I almost, and this is corny to say, but it's almost like I could see him. I could see myself in him. Like whatever I'm feeling, like he's reflecting me. You know what I mean? Happen. It's interesting, but man, that's crazy. But I like the quote. I like the quote that God only gives you what you can handle, what He knows you can handle, right? So He must have known, or it must have known, that you could have gotten over this, and there is more to you than this trouble that you're facing, right?
Yeah, I think that, well, yeah. So the storm comes, right? And it's just a matter of how you're going to weather the storm.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're going to jump out the boat and drown. You know what I mean? You do have that. You do have the choice to. And I'm so egotistical, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
So egotistical that I can't let the storm win. So I'm gonna get beaten down by it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna sit here for as long as I need to until I learned. Wait a minute, dude. You don't have to sit here. Like, you can move.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So then that's what I decided to do. I decided to move, try to live the life that I've wanted to live for a decade and a half, and just be real intentional about it. And I got to tell you, that's when God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, man, you start taking action, and action starts coming back towards you, right? And so opportunity, like you're knocking on the door, and then the door gets open, right? Ask and you shall
receive.
Yeah,
sure. I like that, man.
Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door shall be open.
So why do you think so many people don't want to persevere? Like, why do so many people just succumb to the troubles of life and just almost, I mean, I guess in a way, quit? Like, they quit on their dream.
They settle.
Settle.
So
there's
this great line. I think the movie's called Up in the Air. George Clooney is in it, and Anna Kendrick. And there's this great line in this movie where they're meeting with this guy, corporate guy, and something I can't remember the exact context, but they're trying to get him to, I don't know, sign a deal or something. I can't remember. And George Clooney's character said, "How much did they pay you to first give up on your dreams?" And he said, whatever it was, $25,000 a year. And so it's not, dude. So it's not a matter of like giving up on it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of what do you do when reality hits you? Like most of us, just when reality hits, we start to try to just deal with reality, right? Instead of changing the reality.
Yeah.
So again, it's mindset. I can't afford that. Or how can I afford that?
Yeah.
I can't do that. Or how can I do that? And most of us, and I think the stat is like 99% of us live in the I can't afford it.
Yeah, you tell your mind,
mindset.
you tell yourself a statement instead of asking yourself a question. The mind is a fascinating instrument.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can figure out whatever you give it, but you have to give it the question.
You have to give it.
Yeah.
You have to put input. The data needs to be input.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm careful when I say things like that because that was my life.
Yeah.
That was my life, just driving around. Got to be more, got to be more, got to be more, got to be more. I got this business idea. I got that business idea. Never did one of them. Never did one of them because I can't. I don't have any money. I can't raise the capital. I don't know anybody. How am I going to get this off the ground? I can't ask people to book me to speak. I don't have a website yet. I can't, right? Like, nah, dude, nah.
That was me for the longest.
Nah, just go. Like, just go.
Why is that so easy to say, though, but in the moment, it's so hard to just do it?
Because we are inherently negative thinkers.
Absolutely.
Damn, man. God, it seems so simple right now. I feel like I'm going to leave this room and go run up $1 million. I feel like I'm going to leave this room. Yo, you lit a fire under my ass.
Good.
That's how it should be.
That's crazy.
Good. Tell a friend.
But it's easy to think about when you have this clarity. But like when I was even like a year ago, a year ago, I didn't believe in some of the stuff that you're saying that I believe wholeheartedly now.
You know why though? Because you did it.
Yeah.
And then it worked.
Yeah.
Right? Now, are you multimillionaires yet?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Soon.
No, but you have, right, taken the step.
Yeah.
So like if you were in my program, this would be like the GPA part.
Yeah.
Right? Your goals, plans, actions. And then you're in to take the action step and being accountable to you.
Yeah.
So every step you make, every person that walks through that door and sits in this chair and you hit record, right? That's a step in that direction. That's accountability. And so you're good right now, working to get better. And then you're going to feel like you're at your best, but then your best is going to get better.
No doubt.
And that's when you're going to be like rocking 100,000 there and the millionaire. Like I have no doubt.
No doubt.
I have no doubt.
That's tough. I got a challenge for you, dude.
Yeah.
You got to write a book.
I'm working on it. It's in
Really?
in
That'll be
progress.
tough.
Oh, that's
I'm
dope.
telling you, it'll make so much noise.
Yeah, in progress.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
he beat me to
I
it.
just found Canva.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Canva. I'm trying to get them partnered with us. I've been using
Yeah.
Canva since the jump in this whole
Yeah,
thing
see,
for
like,
everything.
Shout out Canva.
yeah,
man,
shout
like-
out Canva, sponsor us.
Canva, come on. Like, I'm an old guy, right? So, like, I'm an old guy, and I was working with this young dude. His name is Brendan Dillon, and he uses Canva to do, like, all of his marketing work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I can't be hiring people to put all this stuff together
Yeah.
all the time. So I just went in and tried to learn Canva. I love Canva.
It's great.
And so I'm going to use Canva to be the platform for the
That
book.
flag, like our logo, literally our logo, that was made on Canva.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Go Getters podcast.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I got my logo made. I got to get T-shirts and hats, and I'm gonna give them away to the kids when we complete the program and stuff.
That's not even it though. Like there is so much that like you don't even think that you could do on Canva that you could do on Canva. Like
Yeah,
everything media
marketing
related.
campaigns,
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah. It's I'm learning it. I can't sleep at night, so like I get home from work, and I do love my job. I'm super blessed to have it.
Yeah.
But then like my passion kicks in when I get home, and I just start playing around with stuff. So
That's the story, though, right?
Yeah.
You do your job, and then you come home and you work on your passion.
yeah, it's been
But
fun.
I got a question for you.
Mhm.
So I do feel like with having goals and with being like with trying to realize your potential, you have to be very specific in the metric you're trying to achieve, or you have to be very specific in the goal that you want to achieve. You can't just say, I want more money. You can't just say, I want to be happier. You can't just say, I want to be, better at X. You have to be very specific, right?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. You're the motivational guy. You're the guy who's lighting up a fire in everybody else. What are your goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve in your future?
So I want to ultimately take this message, right?
Yeah.
And help 1 million kids. Like that's what I want.
That's great.
Right. I want to help 1 million kids. I want to either be in auditoriums, on stages, and more importantly, create something digital and online that could be implemented in school districts.
That's cool, man. That's
Right.
very cool. Yeah.
That could be sold to and implemented in school district that can take them through this kind of process,
That's
right?
great.
So maybe guidance owns that in these school districts, or maybe a third part. I don't know, but that's my goal. I want to help 1 million kids, right? So because I do not want. Remember the story that we talked about that young man that played on my basketball team?
Yes.
Right? That young man that played on the audience wasn't listening because we weren't on air, but there's a kid on my basketball team, just to catch everybody up, who I barely talked to because he was super quiet. He ends up getting arrested for shoplifting, and he gives the cop my name to call, not his mother or his grandmother who he lived with, but me. And long story short is I didn't know why. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And then I got to understand his home situation, and it made sense. Like, okay, he knew that they weren't going to come to his rescue, so he needed somebody that he thought would. I get that. And then I asked him what did you steal? And he said sweatpants. I said why? He said because it's cold. So what I want to do is make sure that like that kid doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like pour into that kid so that there's another resource to go to. There's another somebody, right, to go to. And more importantly, that he could look at his life and put a period at the end of that sentence and start a brand new one with this thought process. And be like, that might be your life, Mom. That might be your life, Grandma.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be mine. It's
sure.
not going to be mine. So I want to help 1 million kids say that.
That's great. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
That reminds me a lot of, do you know who Sadhguru is?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sadhguru, he has something similar. He's on a similar mission, but I think his workshop is called Inner Engineering. And he's trying to help people to accomplish like more spiritual development and help them to alleviate like the suffering aspect of their life rather than like the career and the potential in terms of like their real life. Like I guess Sadhguru's perspective is from the inner workings of a person, and yours is just realizing the potential. And I mean, maybe it's all of it, right?
Yeah, so the inner work happens when you get to the last step, the you part.
Sure.
Because that's when the inner work happens. So like the first two things are great, right? Good, bad, and ugly, put it on the table, cool, let's move forward. Mindset shift, let's go. All right, goal plans, action, goal plan, okay, good, cool, I got that written down, I got that, good, I'm ready to go. And now I got to hit send. You only hit send when you are ready to, when you are able to, right, through your personal development. I used to say all the time, your personal development is professional development.
No doubt.
Like, you know what I mean? So, so So at that last step, at the U part, is when all of that kind of mental health and your spiritual health and your soul health, your physical health, where that all applies.
Yeah.
Right. So you can be the best version of yourself to go. But yeah, so I want to ultimately help 1 million kids, and then, like we talked about, change, the future. I have hope in the future because I have hope in them. Help people put periods at the end of their sentences and create a new life and a new legacy for whoever comes behind them. And then also, once I scale up, I want to help professionals that are between the ages of like 30 and 45.
Man.
Right? Because there's a lot of us dudes out there who are like me, who are just putting that smile on their face and shaking those hands and sending all the emails and doing everything they got to do, and are just coming home like, yo, I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hate it. You know what I mean? So I want to try to help those men try to understand that they had potential.
Yeah.
That they still have potential.
Yeah.
And that maybe that's in their current profession, or maybe it's outside of that profession, but I just feel like I wasted so much time because I never took the action to get to the performance until 15 years later. So I would like to help other like business professionals, sales professionals, tap into their potential as well.
Why do you think you care so much about the betterment of everybody around you?
Because I've hurt.
Yeah, man.
Because I hurt.
Yeah.
Because I know how. Oops.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. You can say whatever you want.
I know how. They don't want to hear the Rev cursing now. They don't want to hear I've hurt badly.
Yeah,
man.
And
so you know what it's like.
I don't want anyone to hurt that way.
Yeah.
I think there's a beauty in that though, because when you suffer, you develop a great sense of empathy.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like to suffer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I understand you. Like even when people hurt me or wrong me, I can't really get mad at them because I understand that there's a reason why you hurt me.
Yep.
It's never really
like,
personal,
like
right?
it's not. I just was preaching this like I think a Sunday or two ago. Like they're hurting you, but they ain't hurting you because of you. They're hurting you because of them.
They're hurting.
Like you're not the one that's broken. They're broken, right? So they're just hurting you because they're mad at themselves. So they're taking it out on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But that's just a reason, dude. I've hurt. I've been in I've just hurt so many dark places, and like, there's this perception that my life has been great. It's not been, right? It's just not been. I've had some really harsh, significant family issues in my own house, like really hard.
Yeah.
Right? Super hard for a very long time. And then I had the money issues, really hard.
Yeah.
Those issues lead to marriage issues. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That listen,
Nobody gets to see that.
Yeah,
though,
no one sees
but
that.
you.
But I tell it like I don't care. Like I really don't. I don't care. Right. So I'll put it all out there because I like. So if I'm going to be the preacher guy and try to motivate, then I also need to let you know that I needed motivation too.
Yes.
But here's the catch. Here's what's happened to me lately. Right. Motivation is like cocaine. Motivation is like speed.
Yeah.
Motivation gets me up when I'm feeling down. But motivation doesn't keep you up.
Nope.
Nah, it's the discipline, right?
It's the discipline.
Yeah.
So you've got to. So I've added this to the mantras. Like you've got to move. You got to take motivation and turn it into transformation. Because it's only when you transform that you can stay up. Like the process of metamorphosis or transformation, like the caterpillar butterfly thing.
Yep.
Right. So so change is one thing, and then transformation means something slightly different. Transformation actually means to change, but from one state to another.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to get to change from one state to another state. That's what y'all are trying to get to change from one state to another state.
Yeah.
And I want other people out there to understand that you don't have to stay in this state.
Yeah, you
that
can put
you're
the period
in.
down.
You can not just change, but you can transform. Like you can get out of this state. You can get out of that house. You can get out of that financial situation, get out of that grade deficit. You can get out of that relationship. You can get out of that mental abuse that you are abusing yourself with. Like you can get out of it.
Yeah.
But you got to, over time, with energy and effort.
Damn. That's crazy, man. So how are you now? Honestly.
I'm a B-ish.
Still going?
It's a fair goal.
That's honorable.
I'm a B minus B. Mm-hmm.
That's honorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun.
That's good.
My mental health is always going to be a challenge. That's my bad and ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So my every day of my life, every single day, when the alarm clock goes off, this is what happens to me. Every day.
Yeah.
Panic. Right. Just waking up with it, and that doesn't matter if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And it doesn't matter if I got huge meetings with executives or if I've got a lazy day doing admin work or if I'm getting ready to go to the beach on vacation. That is just my bad and ugly. So as long as I'm contending with mental health issues, life is hard. But, thank God for the ability to cope. For me, that is prayer, gratitude, journaling, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Mel Robbins teaches that. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
And sometimes it's just like, all right, dude, like you got to get up.
Now, are these things actively like circulating in your head every day? Like these thoughts?
Yes, because you got to own them, or they own you. So like if I don't intentionally have these thoughts and intentionally use the skill, take the action, then I'm not going to get out of the bed.
Yeah. Right.
So like I have to do it. I have to do it, or I'll be in bed all day because that's what depression will do to you. Right. So I'm a 46-year-old husband and father of 3, right? So even if I didn't have my own goals, I got to get up. Yeah. Right. So so for me, man, it's just a matter of, all right, like, pray, show forth thanks, gratitude. Sometimes I get my journal out and I'll literally write what's good. Sometimes I just write my prayer out. That gets me set and stable. And then we close up that book, close up the good book, and then let's go. And just make it happen.
I got a couple questions because me and my friends actually debate about this a lot, and I actually don't have a secure answer. I have 2 questions actually. The first one is, do you think negative mental health is a result of life experiences and traumas and bad experiences, or do you think that it is hereditary and it's within one's genes and it's just predetermined? Like this is what you got and you got to live with it.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm not going to be able to give you a clear answer because I think it's both.
Yeah.
Because I've known some people that have gone through trauma that has led to a PTSD and certain anxiety issues and triggers. Yeah. And then there's people in my family, including myself. If there was a perfect childhood, I was real close to it. Like there was nothing wrong. Yeah. My father, phenomenal. My mother, amazing. My brother, we did brothers fighting and stuff, but loved him, got along, slept in my room on the weekends. We watched Comedy Central and Saturday Night Live. Like we played cars and G.I. Joe. Like we got along. Like my house was solid. Dinner every night, right? Structure, bedtimes, cleaning on Saturdays, gospel music playing Sunday mornings, time to get up, go to, like, it was awesome. Grandparents, great-grandparents, Sunday dinner, I did not have trauma. Yeah. But I was anxious since I was a little boy. Like, I remember being 4, 5, 6 years old in my grandmother's house, getting a pain in my chest, and going upstairs to the closet, waiting to die.
Panic attacks.
Just waiting to die. I was 6. Oh, wow. 6 years old, 5 years old, playing hide and seek in my grandmother's house.
I didn't even know kids that age had panic attacks.
Yeah, and I didn't know either, so I didn't even know what it was. Yeah. I had no idea. So it's for me, I was born that way. Like nothing happened to me. Nothing. I wish, and sometimes I wish that it did. Yeah. So I could address it. Yeah. Yeah. But there's nothing to address.
Damn. So I wonder, this is a different question, but I wonder, how did that evolve? What biologically brought that to be a phenomena in human beings?
I don't know. I wish I did, because the world would be a lot better place. And anxiety and mental health, man. I mean, it's just
real.
Everybody has it nowadays. Yeah. I mean, everybody's on a pill. I mean, yours truly. I mean, go for it. Psychiatry, psychology, whatever you got to do, medication. Like it's a demon, man. It's a beast.
For sure.
Yeah, don't like I talk about it a lot so that other people will talk about it, because there's still like this stigma around it. Like I can't say that I'm depressed or whatever. So I say it all the time just so people know, like you at least have somebody to talk to.
And then the second question I had was, and I understand that this is probably somewhat tangled up with humans are predetermined to think negatively from a survival perspective, but on a different note, though, what do you think causes self-sabotage? Because I think that's a little bit of a different thing, because for some reason, at a young age as well, I experienced this, and I was just like curious, like, why am I thinking like this? Why am I almost preying on my own downfall? Why am I sabotaging myself?
Well, so most people sabotage themselves before they really get started. And the reason why, in my opinion, right, is because if I don't succeed, I can't fall to failure, right? Like I might be like failing at XYZ maybe every single day, but no one notices but me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like nobody notices but me. But man, if I attempt to do something, like if I put this podcast out, like if I try to get into real estate, like if I try to build a business or 2 or 3 or an empire, if I say that out loud,
it's a bold move.
If I say that out loud and then I go, but then along the way I trip and fall, I don't know if I could handle. I don't know if I could handle that, so I'll just stay here. I know a lot of people that do that in relationships. You know, someone comes along and tries to love on you, and they're like, "Nah, you're just gonna hurt me. So I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna mess this relationship up before you have an opportunity to hurt me."
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm that guy, dude. I mean, I've been in a good, clean, happy, healthy relationship for a while, 4 years now. It's crazy, but
I don't know how.
How it can go wrong there, right?
Yeah, man. She's a great girl.
Lydia's great. Shout out to Lydia too. I love you very much. But sometimes, like, yo, and this is getting real. This is almost like a therapy session at this point, and it's okay that we're gonna be publishing this. But sometimes I find that I'm incapable of being loved in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like, what is this? You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard for me to, like, tell my dad or tell my sister or my little brother I love them, because it's not a thing that we always do. We never really exchange those words. And so maybe I feel vulnerable. And I think that's the same way of self-sabotage. Like, am I not worthy of love? Am I not worthy of being loved?
Yeah, sometimes you, like, so, and that could be around anything, a person, who knows, right? Yeah. That could be something from your past that makes you feel that way. In relationships, that's what I usually find. Like, somebody hurt somebody before, so I'm not going to let you hurt me again, right? And that doesn't have to be in, like, a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. That could be it doesn't matter. Yeah. Someone let you down in a big way, and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So what I've learned the hard way is, like in a relationship, that Jerry Maguire, right? At the end, he's like, "You complete me." Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crap. You don't want to get in a relationship where someone completes you, right? You want to get into a relationship. First of all, you want to be the best version of you that you could possibly be.
No doubt.
Right?
Absolutely.
So now you bring the best you to the table. You want to find someone, man, woman, whatever, that has become the best selves that they can be, right? Or at least up until that point. And then you come to the relationship adding to each other.
Right.
Not completing each other, but adding to each other, right? So now you're this force, right, as a couple that needs to that will be required to be reckoned with. If you are in a relationship with someone that completes you, 2 things are going to can happen. One, if they leave,
you're not complete.
Right. But here's the worst part. This is the real part. If they leave, you will feel empty.
Yep.
But when hold on. But when it's time for you to leave, you won't.
Damn.
That's the real part.
And you get stuck in this toxic cycle, right?
If someone completes you, if they decide they're gone, you're going to be empty. What am I going to do? But worse than that, if it's time for you to go, you won't leave.
Man.
So you got to be the best version of you. Find someone that's trying to be the best version of you. Find someone that's trying to be the best version of them, and then add to each other, right? And that way you don't have to self-sabotage a relationship. Why? Because if they leave, you're still good.
I'm secure within myself.
You're still good.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's hard to find, man.
Yeah. Well,
I've met a handful of people in my life that are truly trying to achieve the best version of themselves.
Yeah, you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to get out and about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, actually, this journey right here has introduced us to some of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life. So
Seriously.
there are some diamonds in this area, and I think, like, we're trying to reconstruct it. That's kind of our goal. We're trying to reconstruct this area and trying to rebuild this whole thing.
I'm along for the ride, man.
Yeah, you're a part of it, whether you believe it or not.
Let me know how I can help.
You're a part of it.
Absolutely.
Just speak to people, man. Just be you. Because right now we're sitting in this room. I want to go out and do push-ups. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
I love it.
But like your whole mission though, with like the schooling system and like bettering kids in the community, that is, I think that's
pioneer,
such a slept on like belief of ideas. And it's something that truthfully, like with this, I know it's completely different, but that's something we want to achieve as well. Yeah. It's like change the mindset of the youth. Because I don't feel like really many people are trying to focus on the kids that are coming up. Similar to how I was saying earlier, I didn't feel like we had that when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to do that for other people.
Yeah. So, and like we educate, right? We do a great job educating, but I think in this environment in this world that we're living in, like in order to take full advantage of the education that these educators and teachers and administrators are trying to give every student that walks through the doors of any school anywhere, that some of this stuff needs to be laid out first or along with as a foundation, right?
Yes.
To maximize it. So I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's both, right? I think it's just both. And, we got to be coaches and parents and psychologists and whatever else to these kids nowadays, man, because it's hard, man. It's a hard life.
Yeah, it is. Man, I recall that a lot from when I was a kid, just being lost and immature and yeah, that's a crazy life to live, being a kid and not knowing what path in life you're going to take and what you want to do and what you love. It's a hard life to be a kid, man.
First of all, didn't you tell someone to go to college at 18 years old and you choose now what you're going to do for the next 45 years? You're like, that's just weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's
just weird.
I agree.
Like I'm 46 years old and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. You know what I mean? Like I just, you get caught up in that settling and that doing, and you just become like, like my favorite question is like, so you meet someone that's like, and not who are you? What's the question? What do you do?
Yeah, it's almost like you're judged off of your occupation.
Yeah, what do you do? Oh, I work at Wendy's. I'm a sales director for RS Integrated Supply. Oh, wow. Right, but none of them define you.
No, absolutely not.
The Wendy's job nor the director.
Because I was that kid working at McDonald's with this dream of doing this.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and listen, y'all are so I'm doing what I do, trying to pour into these kids and give a process, lay out a foundation. But see, you guys are the ones that are going to model what can be done, because you guys are taking advantage of this new world of social media and technology and being able to expand reach and teach, right? Yeah. So being 21, 22 years old saying, no, I'm doing this. Like I'm in a real booth. Like these are, it's like this is a real headphone and a real mic and a real mixer and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like you are going to model this for other kids. Like even when I told Cole that I was coming here, on the way here, he's like, oh, word? Like you are already kind of inspiring these young dudes because they're all trying to figure out, like, I don't want to do what my dad does. I don't want to do what my dad does for a living. Yeah,
man, for sure.
Like I have a dream and I'll just go try to live it. You might as well. You got nothing to lose.
It's crazy because when I was in school, everybody had a dream. There was something that everybody wanted to do.
The hip hop preacher? Eric Thomas.
Everybody's got a dream.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody did. And what steps are you taking to just do it? It is so possible to just start anything you want to do.
It's so, dude, that saying, if it was easy,
everybody would do it.
Everybody would do it.
No doubt.
There's only one Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
Right? There's just one TD Jakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. There's only one Darrian Tyson.
No doubt.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just got to go be it right? You just got to go be it. You got to hit send. I keep telling myself, just keep hitting send. Just keep hitting send.
Check that out.
There you go. Full send.
Shout out full send.
Yeah. A buddy of mine is multimillionaire. Went to Myers High.
Gary Nealon?
Gary Nealon.
Yeah, I talked to Gary once.
Talked to Gary.
Yeah.
So Gary.
Shout out Gary Nealon.
Shout out to
He's
Gary
a beast.
Nealon.
I got his book downstairs.
So,
Notes to a Young Entrepreneur. Go buy it. Amazon.
I'm not going to give out his full story, but this dude was he was a Wilkes. He grew up on near St. Boniface. Went to St. Boniface, and then it came down to Myers in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And then was on our basketball team, and we became friends. We had a real tight circle in Myers, so it wasn't like a bunch of kids hanging out. And so he was part of our crew. And then after Myers, college years, we hung out, and then he was my club guy. We do pregame at this bar called Big Dogs and head over to the station and have some fun and whatever. We had a great time together. I had no idea he had all this in him. Like you would never ever know. And then he built an empire, right? And then exited out through a very lucrative sale. And he is an inspiration to me, and he's still a good friend to me. But here's what he does for me. He does not make me feel good.
I see. I think I see what you're saying.
Like when I call him, yo, like I'm down, man. I feel like a failure. Like I don't know what I'm like,
okay.
Dude. He doesn't be like, oh, you're okay. He'll say, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
What'd you do? What are you doing? Have you reframed your success? What is success? Did you reframe it?
Yeah.
Is success the top of the mountain, or success to 1 and 2 and 3 steps along the way? Like, can you reframe success down to the day? And if you can't, reframe it to the hour. And if you can't, get to a minute. But ultimately, find success somewhere. And I'm like, thanks. That's not what I wanted to hear, but thanks. Because then I started to reframe success. And so success doesn't mean have the $10,000 month, right? Success means do what you got to do in order to get to the $10,000 month.
Whoa.
And
I
so
never thought about it
and
that
so
way.
I may not have made the $10,000 month yet, right? But I am accountable to me through a process of discipline that has caused me to put in work, whether it's a speech, a talk, a workshop, a post, learning Canva, whatever it is, to get me one day to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 months, right? So
reframe your success.
So he taught me like, yo, just reframe your success, bro, right? But that's his, like, he doesn't ever come with a feel good, that's not his job in my life. That's just not his job.
Yeah.
He just, this is what it is. He doesn't see problems from feelings. Right? Which is why he's a gazillionaire.
He's stoic.
Yeah. He sees problems and addresses them with solutions, right? And is not afraid to experiment with what solutions can be and create his own in some instances. But so I've got Nealon, who has done super, super well. And like I look at Josh Mason.
He's a beast, man. I love Josh.
Yeah.
I love his attitude, and when I hear his story about the weekend he spent with his teammates, and those friends happen to be fathers who own businesses, and he was part of like dinner conversations, and like ding, whoa, right, changed his life, and then he was bold enough to go after it. Like, so you don't ever reach ultimate success and unless you're doing, like, you're never going to be extraordinary unless you're doing extraordinary things. And when I say extraordinary, I don't mean like huge things, but just not ordinary.
You kind of just gave me a revolution on success. I think I look at it completely different now. Because I always thought it was something like in life that you achieved. Like it was just at some point in life, you hit a point in life where you were successful.
But you can be successful
it's
right now.
It's a dumb belief, yeah. But like he was just saying, like finding success, like boiling it down to the hour, to the minute, to the day, to the week, to the month.
You could just be getting that workout over with, you know?
That's
you had a successful workout. You had a successful start to your day, or however you want to reframe it.
I did a video years ago called Rangefinders, right? Cole was like in 8th or 9th grade, and he was I just recorded him shoot because we would do. Cole's not a great shooter, right? So we're like, all right, we got to work on his shot. So we call up Ryan Krotchniuk, right? And one of the best shooters Myers ever had, and call him up. So Ryan, I can't fix his shot, dude. Could you get him in the gym? So we get him in the gym. They're doing the workout together. Ryan teaches me this workout. And the first part of the workout was called rangefinders. And you just sit in front of the rim. Sit 2 feet in front of the rim. You hold the ball in one hand, and you just shoot it. And you shoot 25 or 50, and you can't hit the rim, right? And you step back 4 feet, and then you get to the free throw line. And I did the video called Rangefinders because who wants to do rangefinders? Like, I want to play the game in front of the crowd.
Yeah, score the basket.
And I want to get to the rim, and I want to make that shot, and I want the crowd to roar, and I want the buzzer to go off and scream in victory and lift up
and be the man.
And lift up my district title, right? Yeah. That's what I want to do. You can't do that without rangefinders.
Yeah.
And so success was absolutely that night in the arena when he put that, right? We worked for that for his life. When he put that, held that plaque up and put that a medal around his neck, dude, right? That was success. But before there was that success, there was rangefinders.
The reps.
And so if I reframe success, getting that work in, that was success.
Yeah.
Right? It's just as the peak is the peak, but the peak isn't, that's one thing. It's not everything.
Yeah.
You know, success is everything along the way. So, and a year and a half ago, I didn't look at it like that either.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, I'm like, when am I going to get out of this mess? When am I going to get this money? And every day that the money didn't come, I felt more like a failure because I wasn't successful.
Yeah.
And then the more I felt like a failure, the less I wanted to do. Yeah. The less I wanted to do, the less got done. And you see how the devil just keeps you in that cycle.
It's a momentum thing, man.
Yeah. So success for me has just been redefined, and I just try to have a good day, a productive day now. That's it.
That's really all you could focus on is what's right in front of you.
Well, tomorrow's not even promised. So all I got is today. So I got to make the most of right now.
Man.
Yeah.
Praise to that, man.
I know. I don't think I've ever been this speechless on a podcast before. Like, you're just saying things, and it's just like shocking my brain.
Yeah, man. A lot of life experience. And here's the cool thing is, like, in 15, 20 years from now, you're going to be me, and 2 other kids are going to be looking at you and going like, man, I've been speechless, because you're going to have learned some things and done some things, be able to pour into some people's souls too. So just keep up the good work.
Life experience is so important. It's so important because we can't even like give that really to anybody. I mean, we can give it up to the point where we're at right now, but we've only experienced half the life that you have.
Yeah. But here's what you have. Here's the experience. So how can you help others? Because the experience that you have is a step or a level or 2 above where other people are.
Yeah.
And so you can reach back down and help pull some people up, right? Because you're on your way to doing big things. Most people don't take this risk. We just learned that.
Yeah.
Right, we just learned that most people won't take the risk. One of the things that breaks my heart the most, man, is when I see kids that I used to coach like end up in like jail.
Yeah.
Yo, really? Like that just drives me insane.
Some of the best too, and like coming from Myers in our area, like we've seen it so many times.
Some of the examples of kids who were the best athletes on the team, best athletes on the field, and they were the ones who just took a different direction.
Yeah. So why do I do what I do today?
Yeah.
So that kid decides that I don't have to live this way.
Yeah.
Planting seeds.
That I can do it a different way, and then they do it. That's my hope. That's my dream.
I like the word that you used earlier. You said foundation, and one day I was on a walk and I just thought about like, what is our foundation? And it's like put simply, our foundation is our values and our beliefs, right?
Yeah. I mean, the foundation of my life, first and foremost, is faith.
Yeah.
That's if I didn't have faith, I wouldn't have nothing, even with the other stuff that I have. Because the second thing I have is family, right? So like the foundations to my life are faith and family, and then the third thing is friends. And they all just happen to start with the letter F. That's not like intentional, but it's like faith, family, friends. Like it all comes down to relationships for me. So my foundation in life are the relationships I have with my God, faith, with my family, the people I love the most, and with my friends. right? My extended family.
Yeah.
So that's my foundation. And then everything else I do is just build on top of that. Because guess what? If the business succeeds or doesn't, I still got God. I still have Morris, Mary Jane, and Marilyn, and Brandon, and Sherida, and Brandon, and Cole, and Lael. I still have Jeff, and Megan, and Gary, and you feel me?
Yeah.
Right? All of it can go away, but that's the foundation. And as long as I got them in the foundation, if it all comes crumbling down, guess what?
Rebuild.
I get to rebuild.
It's like the North Star. It's always
I get to rebuild. So my foundation isn't built on money and all that stuff. It's built on things that can't be replaced.
Yeah.
Right? Just faith, family, and friends.
But it's like the same thing as a foundation with a house. Like without a good foundation, it can't stand.
Can't stand.
You know?
Oh.
And a lot of people, I think a lot of these examples that we're talking about, kids going to jail, kids, going in a different negative direction, they might not have the foundation built yet. And I feel like what you're doing is helping them to build their own foundation and build their own.
But what you said is important, to build their own foundation.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I was a kid, I got to live on the foundation that was Morris and Mary Jane and that extended family.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that for everybody, right? So I'm trying to help people build their own foundation.
Beautiful. We need it. Wilkes-Barre, stand up.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
this is great.
This is a real thing, y'all. You all got a real setup.
Hey, man, there's a lot more from the production
so much
standpoint that we're working on too. There's so much we need to do. Like we're man, there's so much to be done.
And it's crazy because even
so much to be done.
Even like we were saying, like we're so young in the game still too. Like we've only been doing this since our first episode aired in June, I believe.
Yeah.
What episode was Josh?
14.
14.
Yeah. Something along them lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And you got Yuri, right?
Yeah.
Yuri on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. We had the mayor on. We had Greg Skrepnek.
Scrap.
Oh,
yeah.
Scrap.
This one dude's really cool, Josh Snell. You gotta check him out.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He's a kid, man. Super inspirational kid, and he's a bit
like I know that name. Is he local?
Yeah. He's a bit older than me and Kev, and what he does is he built this brand called Save the Wave. Maybe that's how you might know him.
Yeah.
So Josh Snell. I actually worked for his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at
yoga. She does yoga,
right?
I
worked at Studio B for a minute.
Wow.
Yeah, Josh. I knew that name.
And so he thrifts clothes, makes one-of-one pieces, and then sells them. And then he travels to the East Coast and stuff like that, and cleans up beaches and stuff.
Super passionate about the environment.
Yeah.
The environment.
And now he's skydiving and flying planes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great family.
I hear his mom's a really cool cat. That's what he said.
Jen is awesome. Eddie is they're just a great family, and they care. So they're doing their own version of the work we're talking about through self-care. And basically well-being practices.
Yeah.
I don't want to just limit it to yoga.
Sure.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's part of it, but it's more around just well-being.
Yeah.
From mental practices like gratitude and meditation to physical practices like yoga and stuff. So
yes, sir. Who else do we have on the pod? Shawn Walker,
Eric O'Day.
We have Mr. O'Day on the pod. Yeah, we have Dame Sachs. We had Coach.
Coach Dame. My God, shout out Coach Dame.
So he may not remember this, but I was in class with him at King's College.
Oh, really?
He was a freshman running back, and I was a transfer. So I was a sophomore at the time, but I was maybe 21 or 22 years old because I was going to school part time, and so I got put in this freshman class because everyone at King's had to take it.
Yeah.
So I'm in this class with Dame, and he was a nutcase.
Yeah.
He was like a comedy show, man. He was just a funny dude way back then. And then he started doing an
He's
after.
Legendary.
He's so cool. And then he started doing this after kids care thing, I think, at one of the schools or Heights, and I had run into him again. And then, just on Facebook, just watching his evolution, to be this coach, number one, but black coach, person of color coach, African American coach. And that's something that's been desperately needed around here to represent kids that look like him and can relate to him. And I love his spirit too. He's doing it. He's doing it the right way, but more importantly, he's doing it for all of the right reasons too. Yeah. I think he's going to have great success.
That's what I really love about Coach Damas. He's taking a similar like approach that you're doing. He's trying to start from like the ground up. He's focusing on like everything he has on the kids, and I could really admire that in him because he does a really good job at it. I had him as a coach for, I believe, 2-3 years in football. It was like split up, so it's hard to really remember. But in that time, like the way he would focus individually on kids, and especially me, like everything he did for me, it was crazy. That's why I knew we had to have him on here so early, just because of his message and who he is as a person. But he does that very well.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. And I don't know him like super well personally.
Yeah.
But you know, I have a knowledge of who he is.
Yeah.
I watch him online, and he's just tried and true. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He's like a cartoon character.
He
like
is. That's what I'm saying. Like I remember from college, he was just a nut. He's just hysterical. Just being a goof.
Yes, sir. So do you want to tell the people where we can find you, where we can reach out to you, where we can follow you, where we can learn about you?
Yeah, I mean, I really work the gram. So it's,
the gram.
Your gram's doing well too.
Yeah, I work. I that's my favorite platform, but it's called The Shawn Walker. Is where you can find me on the gram, and same thing I think on Facebook and Twitter as well. But I'm not really too good at Twitter. To be honest with
That's
you.
cool.
And TikTok is something that I don't understand. Like I put it out there, but I don't really understand. So find me on the gram, The Shawn Walker. Hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah,
and,
we'll link all of it.
Yeah, DM me and follow along, see how we can help.
What was that logo you were coming up with? You got like a brand?
I do, yeah.
Okay, maybe we could put it right here.
Yeah. Bing, bing. But yeah, it was
put it right above your head.
It was the
You'll see it
SW
at the end of the
with the
video.
microphone.
So, like if
right?
I send it to you, could I send it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I'll put it right above.
I'll send it to you. But yeah, so it's Shawn Walker Speaks. So it's SW, and then behind
dope.
is a microphone. So Shawn Walker Speaks. It's just about trying to like use your voice, to try to help and motivate, but more transform. And the process is potential to performance by taking an honest look. So it all kind of circles.
Nice.
Back
we gotta get that to blow up. Please check out what he's doing, because seriously, I think your message is like dope. It's unlike many people I've met around here, and I think like the world needs to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I know I needed it, and so I'm just gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, and we got to have you on again too. Like we'll check in like a year or something and have you on
see
the
where it's at.
I want to do that because we're keeping progressive outcomes with some of the kids. Like last year I didn't do this, but this year like we're taking inventory of what our commitments were, and we have educational outcomes, we have discipline outcomes, and we have a goal of your choice outcomes. So we're going to come back and check in on all these outcomes, and then celebrate with the kids, and throw the pizza party, give them a certificate, give them some T-shirts and stuff, and just keep inspiring them to continue to work the process and create new goals.
That's awesome.
So
man.
today it might be make your bed, but tomorrow it might be start a podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yo,
it is possible.
And please let us know if we can help in any way with what you got going on.
Yeah,
please.
So you're gonna.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah, so you're gonna, because I need to chat. This was your spot.
Yeah.
I need you to get with me on my spot, and I need to ask you that question I've been asking everybody else.
Great, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I want to let you know too, man. We're doing. Me and Kev had this crazy idea. We wanted to feed 100 people for Thanksgiving. So we dropped a GoFundMe account, and in like 3 or 4 days we raised $1,300. And $1,400 bucks. Yeah, $1,400. So we're gonna be giving out food on the 23rd.
You will learn that this valley still has people. The valley is what's called the Valley with the Heart. Or something
That's
like
that's my grandparents.
Yeah, and it's when you ask for help like that, it restores your faith in humanity.
For sure, man.
Yeah. So you're doing that on the 23rd.
We're gonna be giving out food right before Thanksgiving. We're giving away turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, all that, like Thanksgiving meals to 100 people.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
100 plus, hopefully.
100 plus. Yeah,
hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. I just want to let you know that, because maybe we can get involved somehow.
Yeah.
You can connect me to who might need food and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I could definitely work on that. There's a couple of resources.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
Absolutely. We'll talk
Shawn
more
Walker.
off.
We're going to fight these demons. I love you, man, as a human being.
Seriously.
From way back jumping on your trampoline when we were neighbors way back in the day.
For sure. I told my dad about this podcast. He's like, no way.
This is great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you, man.
Thank you, man.
Young kids doing big things.
Thank
Please
you.
keep it up. I'm privileged and blessed to be here.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, man.
We're
Appreciate
honored
it.
to have you. Seriously. This has been a great podcast. I cannot wait for the people to hear this, man.
Boom.
All
right, guys.
This is amazing.
Peace. Shawn Walker. Go check him out. Reverend.
Love.
Peace.
Awesome. Man, that was fun.